It's a good morning to you. Welcome to Asake Online. My name is Zenzele Ndebele, and this is the Breakfast Club, the show where we talk about local issues, what is happening around. But these days, it's elections galo. So it's mama elections, talking to candidates, attending to rallies. But one thing that I've noticed is that this election is a bit different. There's not too many activities that are going around, not too many rallies. We are yet to have a star rally in Bulawayo by either ZANU or CCC, but it's quiet. I hope maybe to save the best for the last. So we hope August will be a very busy month to campaign. But also what I can say now is that I like the fact that it's a bit peaceful, or it's peaceful for now. We haven't had any incidents of violence or into Zenzele, and we hope that it is going to continue like that, because the idea is for people to campaign peacefully, vote, and life continues, because the elections are not everything. They are just a process in a democratic society. So today I'll be talking to Archibald Chiponda. What elections have taught me is that I've always known him as Archie. So, and I keep on discovering amavizo abantu. And so now sesikhuluma amavizo asesithuphe nazabe ekupilot. Archie, it's a good morning. I still can't process.
Yeah. Avela abantu abaningi bangazi njengo-Archie. So election vele yenza njalo. Sitshela abantu ibizo ele-ballot box, because we won't want people to get lost. But I'm comfortable with Archie.
So being A and the C, does that mean that you're going to be the first on the ballot?
I hope so. It makes it much easier for me.
So, yeah, I mean, for someone who doesn't know you, who is Archie? Tell us a bit about yourself.
I was born in Ebulawayo, born in Matate. I attended the Henry Law Primary for a short while. Then I moved. My mom had moved to England at the time, in London. So I moved, then I lived in London for a while. I went to primary school there. I was in St. John's. I went to secondary school there. I was in St. Michael's. Then I went to sixth form in university there. Once I was done at university, then I came back Ekaya.
I could tell from the tone with this guy was an American, Britain. So I mean, if someone goes to where everyone wants to go, and then they decide to come back, why did you decide to come back?
No, funnily enough, a lot of people always ask that question. Why did you decide to come back? But Ekaya. I'm one person I would say, I always tell people I went to school in England. My father was always here. The large majority of my family was always here. So that side, I would literally be there just for during the term. It's just like a boarding school. So it's just like saying, I went to boarding school outside the country. But holidays, whenever I was not in school term, I was here. So I grew up just like, any normal child who goes to boarding school somewhere else in Morningside. All my closest friends are all people I grew up with. My whole social circle, in essence, is people in Bulawayo, you know what I mean? So that's what I know.
So you never wanted to stay that side?
No, well, it was very tempting to stay that side. And it was very tempting. I spent 2 years as an intern. Me by profession, I'm an analyst. So I spent 2 years at City Group in Canary Wharf. I was an intern there. But at some stage, I always knew I would come back. Even the first born Wanka, he's also someone who went that side and done everything. When he was basically done, he came back. Because we have, as a family, we've got certain interests and so forth. So it was always something in my family. We wouldn't become English or British or whatever. We always knew home would be our number one destination. That was something we always.
So you are a candidate for Ward 5 under ZANU-PF. Ward 5 is a huge ward now. It includes part of Penside, part of Famona, Stojiwe, the industrial area. Yeah, it's Palm Green, Morningside.
Cool. West Samaton, Newton West, all the way up to just before Mbogotonga. It's all within the boundary of Ward 5, so it's massive.
So at what point do you say to yourself, I think I want to join politics?
I think I am someone who maybe joined politics a bit quite early, because I come from a political family as such. My father has been in politics as long as I can remember. Lamfuti, from maybe 16 years, I was already in district politics in terms of being a ZANU-PF youth member. I first became youth vice chairman in 2012 till 2017. So I've been in politics for quite a long time. I think politics is like it's like a calling that it's not something that someone should just take lightly. When you decide that you want to represent people, it's something that should just be inside you. You know, I think it's akin to those who decide maybe to take a religious leadership role, or those who decide to take so then you just end up in it. You know?
Yeah, it's a calling. You've contested before?
I've never contested for public office before. It's always been internal elections. So this is my first time at the main game, I can say. Before this point, it's always been internal for random positions within the party and so forth. Then you get to a stage where you have now risen well within the party. So now you want to test your mettle, you know, in the public arena. So
the guys say, okay, sit down. I want to show you how it's done. So you're a candidate for what 5? I mean, how is it in terms of the campaigning? You know.
No, campaign is going quite well. You know, like I'm saying, I've been part of other people's public campaigns before, you know. As a party member, I've been part of other people running for MP, assisting with their campaigns, others running for councillor, assisting with their campaigns. I would say this time around, especially if I localize it to Ward 5, the ground is quite fertile for a competitive race this time. Like you were saying, it's been difficult as a party for us to break Iwulawa at local authority level. I think it's been 20 years or something like that since, or maybe we were lucky with our one candidate, Kidwell, who made it in last time. But it's been a rough terrain for us. So as a party, we've been refining and slowly refining. And as someone who's been in the province for a bit of a while, I've been also seeing some of our flaws and trying to refine the process. So this time around, the ground is fertile. I would say so. I would say the residents of Ndebele they've now reached a point of such frustration. Not that we would say we want to capitalize on the frustration, but we would say that the residents are getting to a stage where they can look past this simple party politics, which seemed to have been the narrative over the past decade. I would say it's purely been a party, you know, narrative. It was either you voted for MTC or Triple C, or whatever, you voted for ZANU-PF, purely because of the name of the party. People are now at a stage whereby they are no longer willing to sacrifice their principles just to vote for a name of a party, which I think is what has been happening for a while, you understand. Iwulawa, as a city, we pride ourselves on certain things. You're born and bred here, you know. And it cleanliness, transparency, orderly way of doing things. These were the principles of this city, to be honest with you. And I think people are now at a stage where they've seen Nguti, we've let this thing go for too long, just saying Nguti, we are voting for MDC, we are voting for, and they now want to get back to core principles and really look up and say, right, who are the candidates who are sticking for our principles? So I think the ground it's ripe.
Yeah, so you talked about, you know, their frustrations. Of course, there are frustrations, and politics is also, it's a game. It's about opportunity, I guess. When the other one is down, you strike. And I think most people would say for the past, people have been complaining that this council is the worst, and all those kind of things. There are things that are not moving properly. Assume you are voted in your ward. What is some of the things that you want to change?
The first thing, or the overarching issue I would love to change, to bring, is to actually bring back always sense where community. Lokwan, I know that we have so many amenities. I'm lucky in my ward. In my ward, I'll be honest with you, we have a lot of recreational clubs. We have a lot of churches. We have a lot of places where people can gather as a community. Here I'm talking about municipality, right there near Moray. I'm talking about Bellevue Recreational Club. I'm talking about BG Hall. We've got many of those amenities. We are lucky like that. But all of them are in a state whereby people are no longer gathering to meet or gathering just to know each other is, I think, for me, the best foundation for a community. We have the usual things, obviously. We have storm drain problems. We have road problems. We have our clinics. I think BG Clinic, a lot can be done there. And we have street lighting. These are our 4 major issues. When you try and deal with some of these issues, because, like I'm saying, I've been in politics for a little bit, we've tried to deal with some of these issues as individuals outside. The bureaucracy is just something else. Even to try and put bulbs in those street lamps, I'll be told stories. I've tried some of these things before, even to try and attach solar lamps to some of these poles, like you are told, it's not your property, what, this bylaw, that bylaw. So it's also a frustration of being on the outside, which is making me now want to come inside. There are certain solutions. Cleanliness, it's simple. This is collecting refuse, guys. You know what I mean. There are some solutions which don't even need council. We have an initiative now where we're trying to create employment. At the same time, we're trying to draw youths from certain parts of our ward and maybe take them to clean other parts of our ward. I'm sure you are aware now with recycling, there's money in recycling. When people pick up tins and plastic bottles and whatever, they weigh those things and they get money. So we're actually creating an internal solution because we've now seen if we don't solve some of these problems for ourselves. So some of these things, I would just simply, make them larger if I manage to get the chance, if I'm blessed enough to actually get into council. It's a matter of just now refining these things and making them, legitimizing them as such so that they're within the system, Storm drain issues, we can go on and on. We don't know how many years it's been since some of our storm drains have been cleaned. My areas, simple grass cutting. We had an incident I think it was a Chabalala, it was a chicken corner. I don't know if you read that story where kids were bent or something. I think the guys, they hide fuel or something in those tall grass and so forth. Those are simple things. 2 kids were hurt, they were burnt, they were in pillow. We went to see them. When we were told the story, this was just an issue of the fact that there was a bushy area. If that bushy area didn't exist, those children wouldn't have got hurt that day. So it's just simple things like that. I just want to clean up. I want to start with cleaning up first. Then we'll tackle things as they come,
Yeah, there is also one of the areas that is flat or residential areas in your ward is S02EP56, which for a long time has been there. It's dilapidated, toilets not working, a bit crowded. I mean, if you were to be councillor, is there anything that you can do for those people?
I'm one person who's a bit lucky because Ward 5, as you know, falls under Bulawayo South. Bulawayo South, we also have the only sitting ZANU PF MP, which is Honorable Raj Modi. Honorable Raj Modi is someone who's philanthropic by nature. He's a very charitable person. You talk of S02EP56, he went there, he sorted out all the plumbing and he helped with some of putting window panes and so forth and so forth. And he's actually done quite a lot there in terms of the sanitary state of S02EP56. But he's only one man. Those flats are huge. That takes like an initiative as a city to be able to solve such a problem. So he's trying to do what he can. If I were to be lucky, the first thing I think I would concentrate on is the surrounding area. They have a lot of clogged, like my storm drain, like I was saying, and they have a lot of bushy, grassy area around there. If we were to clear that area, it would be ripe for my market gardening programs and such things. They could rear simple things like rabbits, market gardening programs and so forth, and try and at least get some form of revenue generation going for that area. The long run solution, in my own opinion, the last time there were some people who were moved from those flats, They were found land and the houses were done. They were moved. They got some stands and they were moved. I'm not exactly sure where it was because it was quite a long time ago. But I'm quite sure if we were to check the history books, you would find that the councillor for that area might have actually been a ZANU-PF councillor the last time those people were moved somewhere to a better place, because we're talking about more than 10, 12 years ago. So I'm not quite sure, but I'm quite sure it might have been a ZANU-PF councillor, was the last councillor to actually successfully take a group of those people when they said, these flats are not ideal for people to habitate, and move them somewhere else. So I would also love to come and find space in my ward. I'm not saying we would make anybody who doesn't want to move. No. What I'm saying is I would like to alleviate and create a bit of space so that it wasn't so cramped. And those who are interested, we have lots of land in my ward. It's one of the biggest wards in Bulawayo. It would be easy to find an area to try and set up some form of housing scheme just to alleviate the current situation where people are squashed,
Yeah, you are a councillor in a ward, but you'll be also working in a city. And Bulawayo has a lot of challenges. You talked about the cleanliness of the city. And one of the things is, which of course there is the people losing, people believe council is losing a lot of money. In terms of vendors selling all over town, and also buses parking everywhere in town. If you go in town, Dambama, Bochikenini, we are Brayo, we are also Mumbu, and everything else. Yeah, it's like, I don't know where, that's not what we're used to. There needs to be proper order. As a councillor, what are some of the measures that you're going to put to make sure that the council, the city, it can no longer be a clean city when everyone's selling everything?
The problem realistically is me, well, by profession, I would say, and like I was saying to you, I'm an analyst. I studied economics, right? Bulawayo City Council used to have an economic ecosystem which worked well. One value chain which was quite good, to be honest with you, was the farm to alcohol production to alcohol sale value chain. And you had Dama farms, Lana, they would grow the sorghum would go to Ingwe, they would make the beer. The beer would then be sold from Ama City Beer Hall. Right? That's an entire value chain, from primary production to secondary manufacturing to tertiary, which is the retail. This council has now come. You rent out the farms, right, to each other. Where are you going to grow the sorghum you're going to need to make beer, right? You rent out the beer halls for a song. How are you going to generate the revenue you used to generate? You would be shocked. I want to that estimate, but that used to create so much revenue for Bulawayo City Council. A lot of roads were built with that money. A lot of these suburbs, these are the new suburbs, they were created with some of those monies from that beer hall system. So you get a council which comes and breaks up a perfectly viable value chain. These are some of the things I would want to start to question. You have, like you said, the vendors, the buses. We have what? Is it 12 years? It's 12 years now, I think, roughly. Those people are trying to earn a living. Where do you expect them to go if you close the one place where they were all at least economically active and making a living? Where do you expect them to park? There's demand for those passes. You understand? I was with the CEO for Edgar's about 2 weeks ago. They closed the branch here along Takawirandit. So I was just asking you, but why? Is the problem, I'm a vendor, is the problem, why are you closing that branch? And she said, no, I'm a vendor, they're all over Zimbabwe. We know they're always there, and yet we even communicate with them, and they know exactly what activity we will allow and what activity we won't allow. She said to me, the main problem is Ekotini, because we had so much foot traffic when Ekotini was open. People would get off Ekotini and walk past our shop and buy some things on the way into town. On their way home, when they were going back to Ekotini, they would walk past our shop and buy a few things and get into transport. So it was an example to show sometimes some of these things have got such a large after effect that you don't realize that whole area, the economic activity, how it's been affected by this Kodini project taking so long, to extent that someone as big as Edgar's, what more the small business people around there, if Edgar's can't take the hit
Yeah.
those small business people, you know?
Yeah, you've been a youth member, or a youth chair, and for ZANU PF, and people always feel that you guys linelifika kumpana libe ngo landlord, lo maparoni, lipata some pasi $10. But does that happen? Do you guys really do that?
It's very completely against party policy for anything like that. That type of activity it's extremely illegal, or it's against party policy. We always get reports of things like that, and we always deal with them. But sometimes you have to be realistic. The problem with being the largest party, or being a mass party, let's say, is everybody seeks refuge within ZANU PF. I'll be very honest with you. I once gave a small comment. It was your organization foot when I was trying to explain what I'm a vendor. If those vendors were all ours, do you think we wouldn't have some seats in Bulawayo? Let's be honest. You know, if everybody who's a vendor in Bulawayo was ZANU PF, I will have Central Valley State, you know what I mean? We'd be winning how many seats around town? Because there's thousands and thousands of people there. We would have seats, but we don't, because what happens is even members of the opposition party, when you are the mass party and you're the big party, they see you as the big brother. So they will see, in this sphere, eventing, my big brother is ZANU PF. And you'll see, FTC or CCC, go get t-shirt ZANU PF by his vending store, because inevitably, when you're a party, when you're the big party, you look after everybody's interest. You're like everybody's big brother. You know what I mean? So you can't throw away one of your young brothers because, you know, so you end up championing everybody. And then obviously you have a few individuals who end up abusing that thing, we are the big brother for their personal gain. But I would definitely say any such activity, please, people, come forward. If you find you are being asked for money, for protection or anything like that, that's not how ZANU PF works. I would urge those people to come forward, let us know immediately, and we will deal with it. Because the protection we offer as such as a big brother, it's got nothing to do with Imali. It's something where we liaise with, whether it's the local authority, whether it's the businesses around, we liaise and we try and we say, this situation has been created by this. Like a quoting, it's been created by this. But now, it exists. So what are we going to do to it? To move forward. And we pray that Bulawayo City Council sorts this situation out Ekotini, because it's causing chaos all over the city. It really is.
If you win and your first council meeting, what are you going to say about the Godini, or do? Let's say ZANU PF ends up with the control of the local council.
No, the first thing I would try and do definitely is try and move a motion or something to just, to just lift the skirt on the whole project and try and find out exactly what's happening, because there seems to be such an information, blank out on this issue. No one really seems to know what's going on. Maybe you guys as the media, you've got much more inroads or into, but to me, no one really seems to know what's going on. We've approached them, we've approached TTI several times. Me as a party member, like you said, right now I'm the provincial spokesperson, so I can try and engage these people on other levels, but we can't seem to get to the bottom. Why are these people continuing to get extensions? Why are they? And I saw last week they started putting up AMA stalls. And when I looked at the original artist's impression of what they said they were going to do, and I saw what they're doing, AMA stalls, also, and I just laughed, these guys are not serious. And it became obvious that, now all of a sudden, a lot of things are happening because we're going to election, But we should stop patting these guys on the back. My one thing I implore the citizens of Bulawayo is, every time you continue to vote for someone who is not representing you properly, it's like you are patting them on the back for what they're doing. And, it might sound funny as a politician, and I know we're saying everyone should go out and encourage people to register to vote, but I would rather, if you really feel in your heart, I have something against any other party but CCC, I would rather you don't vote at all. I know it sounds fine. As a politician, normally you say, I want votes on the party. There's no way you can vote for me for whatever reasons. Or you don't like me, or you don't like my party, or whatever. don't then just vote for Triple C just because. Rather than to make the problem worse. That's the truth. You know?
So maybe as we draw to close, one of the issues that affect Bulawayo again is the issue of water. You know, I think at Simanza we are twice a week, 3 times a week. Probably from a council point of view, do you think something can be done?
No. Yes, something can be done. I mean, it's the infrastructure which is in a terrible state. I think the last estimate I got was about 48% is lost purely through leakages. These are just pipe leakages around the Ndebele end. So it's an infrastructural matter. Infrastructural matter, it all boils down and goes straight back to the same thing of revenue generation and failure to effectively utilize the little revenue which is there. You understand? Okay, maybe on a national level, I'll try and keep it local, but on a national level, we know there's efforts. You know, of course, there's Gwai Shangani. I'm quite sure the HE's project is coming to fruition quite soon. It's a project which we're all seeing in front of us. Good eye. It's moving, for sure it's moving. So in terms of availability of water, it's going to become much, much better. But no matter what efforts we have at a national level with the HE, if half the pipes are leaking, you know, it's still not going to work out. So what I would try and do definitely is start to attack the infrastructure, immediately. Maybe a few less trips abroad to go and do and see, because if you notice there are always trips abroad. These expensive trips for councillors to go and learn whatever abroad, well, which is okay, but the problem is they keep coming back, you know.
Yeah, so finally, for someone who's watching and they're thinking, why should I vote Arch? Here is an opportunity to sell yourself to the voter in Ward 5.
No, the voter in Ward 5, I would say, definitely your vote is safe with me. I'm a person who likes to get things done. I'm a person who is sober in his analysis of situations. I'm a person who's very hardworking. I'm extremely hardworking as an individual, and I'm a person who works with all people. I'm just about development, you know. I know it's a lot of my colleagues. When I'm saying, no, I'm going to site to speak to Umgano Zenzele, and they will say, you know, site and so forth. But that's the nature of me. I prefer to work with anybody who wants to work with me to move forward. So I can guarantee you that your vote will be well placed in me.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was Archibald Chiponda. He's the ZANU-PF candidate for Ward 5. One thing that I'm really excited about is that this time around we have a lot of young people who are contesting my elections, and I hope that you know, there are people that you can relate to. Siyahlangana power, you know, siyahlangana church, siyahlangana somewhere, and have serious. So it's not like I would have to think twice. We are one councillor, and all those kind of things. So I'm excited that young people have taken it upon themselves to actually contest, and yeah, we'll be waiting for the elections, and people will choose at the end of the day. Whoever wins, I hope they're going to serve the people of Bulawayo. And like we have said, a lot of people in the city are not happy with what is currently going on, and everyone is hoping for the best. So to Chiponda, good luck, and we'll be covering the results as they come. Recording every year. So what have you done, you know, in some of these issues? But for now, I think what in campaign was that 5 minutes crowd. So thank you a lot for your time, and we're encouraging everyone as well who are an MP, who are councillors, to come and share their views, and Tina, we are there to cover people. Once in a while we'll attack you here and there, but it's all in the spirit of making sure that we have a perfect city. If you see that we are always agreeing, that means there's something wrong. As a people, we should always disagree, but we do that peacefully. And I'm one of that person who would disagree with people in ZANU-PF, would disagree with people in Triple C, but when we meet, we laugh about it. And that is the spirit that people should have. My name is Zenzele Ndebele. Till we meet again in other programs, have a good day.